Well, hello and welcome back to another live stream session. How may I serve you today? Ask me anything. That's the topic here today. If you are new to my live streams, I am simply here on a pretty consistent basis, making myself available for any support or encouragement that I can give you. It doesn't matter who you are, if we've ever met before. I am simply showing up each day doing the thing I feel most called to do in the world, and that is make myself available to be of support and encouragement to anyone who comes across my path. And if that sounds interesting to you, if you'd like to have a conversation with me, I have a Zoom call that is open. It's sitting right over here to my right. And if you go to cliffravenscraft.com/join, you will be pulled right into the Zoom call. You can do that from your desktop or your phone. It will work on either one. And yeah, I'll just bring you right up here on screen. You and I will be chatting back and forth. You could get free coaching from me. We could just have a deep conversation about anything that you're considering as far as a decision that you're facing. If you've had goals before that seemingly have stalled, if you just need a little encouragement, or you just want to chat about something at a deeper level than surface level conversation, I'm here for whatever will be of support to you. And when I say you, I am literally talking about you, the one who is watching this right now. I'm not talking to anybody else. I'm talking to you. I'm here because I genuinely believe in divine appointments. Like divine providence will bring exactly the right people into a live stream as they're scrolling through their social media file or feed, and they'll see that I'm live. And you're like, I've been seeking and praying for some advice, some encouragement, some direction. I've been looking for a sign or whatever, however it is that you're phrasing it, whatever you've got going on. I would just want to be a support and encouragement. I just want to also make sure you understand that I have no agenda here. I have zero ulterior motive. And if you know anything about me and who I am and what I do, I want to assure you this is not a sales funnel. It is not a marketing pitch. There will be no follow-up afterwards saying, "Hey, it was great to talk to you. Let's see if we can go deeper in this." There'll be no offers made to you. I simply here in the moment want to be of full support and encouragement. So, anyway, with that, that is all I have to say until the first person joins me on Zoom. So, the Zoom call is open. It's ready for anyone to pop in. Feel free to join me. Hello, David. Let me just see if I can pull your thing up here. Hold on one second. There we go, and bring that up. David Madow says hello, Cliff, or hi, Cliff. Hello, I see you there on Facebook. I am hosting this as conversations here. I've got a Zoom call open. If you want to participate, feel free to head over to cliffravenscraft.com/join. It'll pop you right into my Zoom call here, and we could be chatting back and forth. Look forward to any potential. No, feel no pressure though, David. I'm just here to meet with whoever comes across my path. So, hi to you. All right. Get that off there. There we go. Dave says, fantastic. Can't really jump on the Zoom right now, but absolutely at some point in the future. Hey, David, thank you so much for the follow up, and no pressure at all. Anytime that I'm here live, the offer is always open to you and everyone. So thank you so much for at least stopping by. I'm not here to do anything that will entertain people in between conversations, because when I do that, people will actually sit down and listen rather than contemplate whether to join. So I'm just going to sit here in silence. I'm kind of doing some things in the background with the thing muted here and waiting for the next person that feels the prompting to join me. But David, I really appreciate you saying hello in Facebook. And by the way, if anybody's watching on YouTube or Facebook, the comments do come through here. So thank you so much. Tell you what I am going to do. I am going to play around with some music in the background here. I was working on some projects this morning. Soul Songs Volume 3 pending. Let's drop this in here. And if I've dropped that in there, then it should pull up on my phone. Let's open up Dropbox here. Ah, here comes Cheryl. Let's see if we can chat with Cheryl.
Hi, how are you doing?
Cheryl, I see that you have joined the Zoom here, although I don't see you have audio yet. So I'll let you finish getting
Oh,
logged in.
okay. Can you hear me now?
It says Cheryl is typing. Okay, so let's see what Cheryl types here. That should come through. Whatever she types should come through on here. So can you hear me? Okay. So
Yes.
Cheryl, the answer is no, I cannot hear
Oh
you. You're
no.
not getting audio.
Hmm.
Cheryl, can you hear me?
Yeah, I have a ticket of
Okay, so the answer is yes. Cheryl can hear me. Are you on a
Yeah, I was taking a
computer
look at
or a
the
phone?
decoms, but it doesn't directly support.
On a computer. All right.
Maybe there
Let's see
was,
here. Do you?
I was gonna do a sheet there
Hmm.
to see what information.
I've not seen a
If
computer
I had any case,
connect
as it
without
still is
a
very
microphone.
subscams. It's
I know it's
like
not the
less
fact
than
that you're muted
1%.
because your just audio is not connected at all.
Let me,
Are you using the Zoom soft? Oh, there's your audio. Your audio is connected now. Oh, you had it and then it
can
went
you hear me?
away. So Cheryl, are you aware of what you just did? Oh, there it is. It's back. Now you just have the opportunity to unmute yourself. So you're currently muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, and now
Nope.
you've disappeared. Oh, maybe. Okay, so say something to me now.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, this may be me, so bear with me. Cheryl, say hello now.
Hello?
Yep, I hear you now. Do you have video?
Okay, great.
Yeah,
I do. Well, let's see if we have video.
There we are. All
It's
right, so
working.
Cheryl, how can I be of service to you today?
Well, thanks. I wasn't expecting to be the only one, but this is great. I actually am going through a transition. I got laid off from my job, and so I'm going full time into my own business. And so just want to talk about mindset for success in terms of as I operate my business part time now, so I'll be transitioning to full time. So just talking about mindset in terms of making that transition to full time.
So I hear that you already have been doing the business that you're looking to go full time into. You've already been doing it part time on the side. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, evenings and weekends.
So you've been doing it for evenings and weekends. And for how long have you been doing it on the side?
Since 2018.
Since 2018. And
Mhm.
has it been generating consistent revenue during that period of time?
I would say it's been generating some income from 2020 to 2024. And then this is the first year that I've been able to cover my costs and have a net profit.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, congratulations, by the way, on already having a net profit. And so I hear that you've been laid off. You're getting ready to go full time. You've been able to generate a net profit with what you've been doing on the weekends and the evenings. So you say that you're looking for some help with mindset. Where do you feel like you might be struggling in the mindset area?
So just making that transition. So in working for somebody else, you have that built-in structure that comes with, being on the job, say from 7 to 4, Monday through Fridays, that type of thing. And so as I'm making that transition, putting together a plan, but also just having that mindset that says, because I don't want to get stuck in that where I'm working Sunday through Saturday.
Okay.
Like I want to be in a place where I've got set hours, I've got boundaries, I've got plans similar to what I have in my full-time job where, I've got that structure.
So have you considered the idea of creating a job description such that it's kind of like an employee contract? So imagine it's Cheryl Incorporated. And Cheryl Incorporated has been employing you part-time up till now. And Cheryl Incorporated is inviting you to come work for Cheryl Incorporated full-time. But Cheryl Incorporated has some very strict guidelines for full-time employees. And that is, we will not allow any of our employees to work the candle at both ends of the stick. We value your health mentally, physically, emotionally, relationally, spiritually. Cheryl Incorporated says you never work before these hours, after these hours, and you must have this kind of margin in your life. We expect this of all of our full-time employees. Have you ever thought about creating a contract that's like that?
No, but I love the idea.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I'm already working on a 30, 60, 90-day transition plan. So I will make sure I include that.
Yeah. So what this does is it takes your fear of unconsciously allowing yourself to just go do everything. Whereas what you're being invited to here is to actually set some parameters and actually see this as a very real organization. That this is a business that you've applied for a full-time position as a full-time employee, and you as the business owner expects your employee to adhere to these guidelines of employment. And then with that very conscious decision of what your work life looks like, as far as it comes to the structure of Monday through Friday and the hours that you work and whatever that case may be, then you're going into this with full conscious commitment that this is what I agree to.
I love it, because the other thing I'm now thinking about, like I do now with my full-time job, I plan my vacation several months out because, I've got to get it approved. And so just doing the same thing with,
Cheryl
Incorporated.
Exactly. And you may even put that in and say, listen, if we do allow for vacations, and here's the lead time that's required for submission. You could, literally, do you see how you could build all of this out? Because Cheryl, if you ever grew your business beyond yourself, you would want to do this. And why not hold yourself to the same standards that you would hold for any other employee that you would ever bring on if it ever scaled beyond yourself?
Yes. Start it all. I love this. I'm taking notes.
That's fine. Yeah, take your time. So I think that will help certainly with that mindset. You're going into this with the mindset of, wow, I do have structure here. I do have commitments. I have agreements. I have expectations that I've agreed to. And I'm not talking about minimums only, but I'm talking about maximums. Say, listen, we don't allow anyone to burn themselves out in any position here. We value you too much. If in this position that we're hiring you for, it is a key role in this business. And everything for the continuation, the continued profitability and efficiency and the health of this entire organization called Cheryl Inc. is dependent on making sure that you are always at your best, energetically, mentally, in all areas. So put some guidelines there.
This is fantastic.
Is there anything else on the mindset side?
Not that I can think of right off the bat, but there's always tomorrow.
There is. I'll be here tomorrow from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah. I'm sure well, you know what? There's nothing I can think of right now, but I'm sure there's more.
Oh, okay. And I will always be around in some form, some shape, some way. And if I'm not, I'm sure the God or the universe will bring about all sorts of other people to help you along the way. But I'm super excited for you. I mean, how do you feel in your mindset about being laid off? Is it brought about any kind of worry, anxiety, or anything like that?
Initially, when I got the news, of course, but fortunately with my company, they were giving me a period of time to look for another job within the organization. But after a lot of thought, I decided to reframe it as opposed to something, with the help of a friend, reframe it as instead of this is something that's being done to me, as something that's being done for me. So this opportunity to take the package and go full-time into my own business.
I love that. And are there any fears associated with going full time other than working too much because there's not the same structure?
Health insurance. I mean, just to be real, health
Okay.
insurance is just really the biggest issue. Yeah, we have a budget, so we know our expenses and, with everything else going on with severance. And because I'm near retirement age, our company has a retirement package. So but I think like most people, health insurance is always just the biggest issue because it's so expensive.
Okay. Well, I don't have, it's been many years since I was in the world of insurance. I used to sell auto, home, life, health, and business insurance, but that
Mhm.
was nearly 20 years ago. So lots have changed since then. I know whatever state that you live in, there is insurance that's available through whatever
Mhm.
marketplace is in your area.
Yep.
And it's as simple as going in and just saying, okay, here's the parameters, here's my income, this is the number of people that need to be covered, and it's going to give you a bunch of different options and a bunch of different monthly plans that cost different amounts for different coverages. So you'll figure that out, and then you just consider that as a business expense. That's the one thing, being self-employed, that is actually an expense of your business. So I had a client that I was working with years ago, and when he first started working with me, he was ready to leave his day job, and he was so excited about it. And then he was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer. And he's like, well, I guess I can't leave the day job now. And I said, why not? And he said, well, because I won't be able to get health insurance. I said, well, that's not necessarily true. You might want to research that before you give up on your dream. And by the way, I would only bring all of this up because he's absolutely convinced that it's the stress from the day job that caused the cancer. Yeah. So staying at the office staying with the day job wasn't necessarily something that would make a lot of sense for him, just so he could keep insurance coverage. Mm-hmm. So he found out what the price was, and sure, it was about $800 a month more than what he had anticipated without the diagnosis. But that just meant he needed to increase his business revenue by an additional $800, which in the scale of things wasn't that much different than what he was already anticipating he would need to earn. So kind of think about it in that way. If there's anything, I'm going to say a phrase and see how it resonates with you, but don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. And so the only way that health insurance and the cost associated with it can stress you out is if you actually see it as big, huge, gigantic, this big, heavy cloud that is hovering over you as a business owner. When in reality, it's no different than needing an internet connection at home, or it's no different than needing to hire an accountant to make sure that your payroll and taxes are done properly. It's no different than hiring anybody for any other expense related to your business. It's just, get this, it's just health insurance.
No, that's a great way to look at it.
Does that shift the weight of the feeling of health insurance as I frame it that way?
It does.
Yeah, it's just a number thing.
Okay. No, I agree. Well, and thinking about what you said, I think just, there's a little bit of scared in there, but I think that's just the natural part of making any big transition.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, there's always going to be some level of fear for something that you've never done before, that's completely different from what you've been doing for many years of your life, and the unknowns are out there, and yeah, there are risks associated with business ownership. Yet the question is do I have the faith that this is the right direction for me? And from what I sense, just by your demeanor, what you've said, and how you've said it, seems like you're pretty clear on that.
Absolutely. Yep.
Excellent.
Absolutely right move. Yeah. So it's 90% excitement, 10% fear.
That's great. That's great. And that fear is a good thing. It will keep you vigilant about potential threats that are on the horizon. And just when when that fear is basically out there and it's got this perimeter alert of potential dangers, and it goes off with its sirens and red alerts, and it's calling forth, oh my gosh, this is going to be terrible, and it goes from 10% to like the threshold of around 60-70% fear.
Mm-hmm.
Just take a breath and say, okay, let's see what my ego fear based narrative is pointing out here. And then once you become aware of the potential risk, the threat, the concern, then just see it for what it is. It is what it is. Okay, let's investigate it. It's kind of like that fear brings about what's called the check engine light. Personally, if I'm going to invest tens of thousands of dollars in purchasing a brand new car, I don't think I would ever choose to purchase a car without a check engine light.
Mm-hmm.
See, a check engine light is there, and it's programmed in so many different sensors that are checking to make sure that the oil pressure is where it needs to be within certain parameters. The temperature of the engine is within certain parameters. The airflow of the engine is within, the fuel mix is within certain parameters. And in essence, that 10% fear, if you will, the metaphor is that's just your check engine light. It's just there with a system. It's a nervous system of different parameters with sensors that is out there saying, hey, is there anything here that's running out of alignment that needs to be investigated before major damage is incurred?
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so
I love it. Yeah.
In some ways, do I want to eliminate all fear, all concern, or whatever? One could make an argument for that. And yet at the same time, if I'm not afraid, then nothing can happen to me. But and the reality is, you would never go into a car and just cut the check engine light so that it never comes on. And then all of a sudden you've got all these different little things that are not quite right. And when your car could have lasted for 300,000 miles, it only makes it 70,000 miles. And and in essence, you could have lasted a lot longer. You could have gone much further. You could have served more. But so that's all it is.
Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you, Cliff. I have to sign off for another meeting.
My pleasure,
but I really
Cheryl.
appreciate this. This was great.
Thank you so much. Anytime I can be of support and encouragement, feel free to reach out.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
All right. I am here for anyone and everyone. If you would like to join me and ask me anything, I've got a Zoom call right here. You could be next in line. I'm here until at least 2:30. As I was saying before, I was working on a project this morning, and I was working on what I call a soul song. And I did a podcast episode about this morning over at thecliffravenscraftshow.com. It's episode 784. And it has everything to do with this idea of no longer taking the same approach to chasing clients who express interest, say that they're all in, but then all of a sudden, for any number of reasons, go silent. And I came out with this incredible dialogue with my higher self, and I decided to put that to lyrics to a song. And I created 3 different versions of this song, and I will play one of those here now. Let's see here. They will know other versions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose one of these. I'm playing it from my phone. Hopefully it will come through for you guys. Here we go. This is the first version that came out.
I don't have to follow up. I don't have to plead. I don't have to water down the wild voice in me. When I speak, they'll feel it like thunder in their chest. They've been waiting for this moment, no second guess. No more tugging at the silence, no more knocking on closed doors. The ones who are meant to walk with me, they don't need convincing anymore. They will know, they will come, they will feel it in their bones like the rising sun. They'll say yes with tears in their eyes. I've waited my whole life for this. They'll offer to pay before I even ask. They'll show up early, steady deep, not because I asked them to, but because their soul already knew. Yes, they will know. I don't sell answers, I don't market truth. I speak from the stillness that burns through the proof. Some will pause, some will pass, but the ones who are called arrive at last. No chasing ghosts through the inbox time, no reaching back for those who hide. I'm here for those whose hearts arrive already opened, already wide. They will know, they will come, they'll hear my voice and feel the drum. They'll whisper yes before I do, because their soul already knew. This is not persuasion's art. This is a course for those who are ready to start. They'll cry within the first 10 lines. This is what I came to find. Yes, they
PJ, I'll be with you in just 1 second.
They will know.
Alrighty. PJ, how can I be of service to you today?
Hello. How are you?
I have never been better. It gets better every single minute of the day.
Perfect. I love that. I think last time I saw you, I don't think you had the beard, so
Yeah, the beard is the new thing.
nice. Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a while. I just wanted to pop in and say hi and talk about, getting serious about making some changes here.
Excellent.
Doing
What kind of changes are we talking about?
well, I've got, rolling around a few different ideas about doing things. Um, in a time of transition, coming out of we'll just say some growth experiences, and learning some wonderful things about myself and others and the world and all that good stuff, and how to be able to kind of share those truths or share my experiences with others and see if any of that resonates. You know, just being able to kind of hold space for other people may sound a little cliche, but just, offering that kind of compassion, that care, because I've just found that, a lot of people, they're going through different things and they don't quite know what to turn, or maybe they get these little snips of advice and it's like, oh yeah, that sounds great, but like, how do you really do that? What do you really do? Um, Getting some practical tips or strategies or things of that, along those lines that people can really implement. So one thing I'm thinking of that's coming to mind, is when folks give you piece of advice, and I know it's from a lovely place, it's from a warm-hearted place, and I'm a spiritual person, not just that I'm a religious person. So it's one thing to be spiritual, but also a kind of religious person. And when people give you thoughts and it's just, or advice rather, of like, well, just read the Bible, you know okay, that's for someone who's like, well, I really need something a little more applicable, that's more specific, because that's a huge undertaking. And so by the time I do that, it's going to be a while. and I have things going on now, so that was one of the things that that I've been kind of pondering through that spiritual and somewhat religious, not somewhat, but religious practice that I have, is you know grounding yourself in those type of foundations each day, and how to practically apply those things, which, by the way, it's kind of new to me. Like most people, you've been around, quote, around the Bible, most of your life. um but how many people have literally sat down and read the pages, you know through? And so you hear quotes and things here and there, but that was one of the things that was coming to mind, especially with myself. And I have some friends and family members who've been some of these difficult relationships where it's not a healthy dynamic. And how do you get out of that? Because by virtue of the fact that it being unhealthy, then sometimes you want to stay because you want to help and you care and you want to fix things. And so that's kind of the big picture, I guess, that I'm
Okay.
thinking of, if that's vaguely vague.
No worries. I'm hearing everything that you've shared, and I'm wondering, are you looking to be the solution to someone who says, I've been given this advice, just read the Bible? And you want to be the person who gives them an understanding of what that looks like? Or am I hearing something? Because there's two different ways that I could think and perceive and interpreting everything that you've shared. There may be an infinite number of other ways, but I want to reflect to you the interpretations I heard. One is, Cliff, there are people who have been told these things, and they don't even know where to begin. They feel like, I need something now, but I'm sent off in this direction of just go sit with the Bible, and I would like to help them. Or the other interpretation is, Cliff, I've come out of something and I'd like to help other people, and I've been told I should just sit here and read the Bible, and I'm experienced this, and I kind of would love some help on some practical tips on how to do this for myself, and so I can also help others. So those are the two things that I heard. Is either one of those aligned with what you're sharing with me, and or is there another way of me understanding what it is that you're potentially asking as a question for some feedback or some wisdom?
Yeah, I think actually both of those are aligned with where I'm going. And that's part of it, is, just kind of brainstorming what are the ideas and what are the thoughts, and then slowly kind of put it into some sort of form, and then how to share that with others. And it doesn't even have to be in a monetized way, just wanting to, use my voice to let people know that there are others out there that are going through these type of things, and it's okay, and to not know the answers.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing now is that this does not need to be monetized. I don't need advice on how to turn what it is that I'm contemplating and discussing with you here into a business that has a business model. So that's not the direction our conversation is currently heading. And yet what I do here is I do desire to help others through what I am currently experiencing myself. And I would love to help people who are either where I am or maybe just a few steps behind where I am. And I'd like to kind of brainstorm what that might look like. And then I hear this thing of I'd like to put it in a form that can be offered, or a container that could be described. So first of all, is all of that accurate?
Yes, it is. And not that I'm not opposed to, ultimately monetizing the thing, but that's just not the number one priority, if that makes sense. I just see
It does make sense. And that's where I want to make sure that I'm picking up where the focus of our conversation might go next is that that's not the direction that we're focused on right now. Is that correct?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
sorry, go ahead. You were
no,
about ready to say something.
yeah, I was just gonna say that you have more experience in like how these things come about and the trajectory and all. So,
When you say these things come about, give me an example of some things that come about.
um, like how to put together a business, like from idea to,
So we
the
are talking about business. We're going to go in the
yes.
trajectory. So do you want to focus on the trajectory of how to turn this into a business?
I'd probably like to hear that. Yes, just to see what the options are. I just don't think I'm there yet. Does that make sense? Like I feel like I'm in the beginning stages, but yeah, maybe give some ideas of where could this go, or how could this happen.
Well, let's pause for just a moment and just take a
Okay.
breath for just a second.
Yes.
Where do you want this to go?
Mm. Well, I think where I'm seeing today currently is to have like a support system for folks. So if that's like a membership group or weekly meetings, or something of that nature, where people can share their stories and feel like they're heard and understood. That's
Okay.
the main thing, because I feel like people aren't they're not talking and they don't feel understood.
If I were to ask you to create a list of 5 to 10 people who would benefit from this that you already know kind of need this kind of thing, could you create a list of 5 to 10 people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you put those names on a list yet?
No.
Okay. First thing I would be doing after this
Mhm.
conversation, somewhere within the next 24 hours or whenever you feel aligned, and only
Mhm.
if this resonates with you, I would go create a list of here are 10 people I know who need what it is that my soul feels called to express in the world. That's the first thing that I would do.
Okay. Write this down.
Yep. Take your time. I'm in no rush.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready. And
Okay.
again, absolutely no rush.
Got it. Okay. Ready?
Okay. So you're basically going to create a list of 5 to 10 people who you know need and could benefit from this environment.
Mhm.
Given the fact that it doesn't need to be monetized right away, what if you were to offer these 10 individuals access for free to a regular gathering via Zoom that you host and facilitate, that is a mastermind that is devoted towards helping people who are dealing with the common thread that all of the people on that list have in common, with the expressed benefits of the desired outcome you hope each of them get as a result of participating in this group. I would then ask myself, do I want to facilitate this group on a weekly basis, twice a month, or once a month? I would probably choose one of those three. And then I would give it a little bit of a name. I would choose the date and time or choose a selection of dates and times that would be available that you could facilitate, that would work within your schedule, and then make the invitation to them, describe to them this environment that you're creating, this opportunity to join. And that is free of charge, with no expectation, no obligation. And also, I might say, I am hosting this for the next 90 days. Mm-hmm. Any of this, by the way, PJ, could be modified. Any aspect of it could be modified. But I would say, I'm going to do this for the next 90 days as my gift, because I've experienced this, and boy, I wish I had this kind of support. I wish I had this place to talk through. And I am absolutely convinced that wherever two or more are gathered in his name, there he is in the midst, and anything they ask for, it will be granted to them. And I want to create that environment, specifically as it relates to this thing we all share in common. Because I believe there is strength in numbers. Wherever two or more are gathered, is like, if one falls down, the other can help him out. But boy, a cord of 3 strand is not easily broken. This is what I'm offering here. This is going to be amazing. And for the next 90 days, there's a part of my soul that says, I want to give this freely and offer it. And I'd like to invite you to participate, and send that invitation to those 10 individuals.
I love that.
And then take it from there. You'd be shocked at what may come out of that. When it comes to what could happen, anything could happen. There's infinite possibilities of what may or may not occur through that environment. But different things that come to mind. You could offer one-on-one coaching and support for somebody who needs a little bit more private and desires some one-on-one encouragement that you feel like you're gifted and talented and equipped to provide. You could offer at some point in the future a paid version of this, and that is going to launch during the first quarter of 2026. And you could say, hey, if anybody's interested, by the way, if you want, you could all meet without me and continue this group. This was a test run to see if I had what it took to create a space that added this value. This was my trial to see if this was something that meets a need for people. There's a number of different directions this might go, but if there were one place that I would start, it might be that, given what you've shared so far. How does any and all of this land for you?
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like just having the time on the calendar for 90 days, or a certain period of time, free of charge. Come as you are. We're just here to share and talk and see what comes out of it. Maybe have a loosely defined focus of the day or of the session, or something like that, and go from there. Yeah, just finish out the year in community.
Absolutely. And that's exactly it. And I wouldn't be too attached to any particular outcomes. I would have some clear picture in my mind, like what is my vision as it comes to me? And as you gain more clarity, kind of fill in the gaps and stuff like that. But the great news here is you're only committed to whatever period of time that you said. For example, it's like, hey, it's going to be for the next 90 days. We're going to wrap up this year. And at the end of the year, it has a very natural, organic closing. It's not being something that's pulled out from anyone's feet. It's known ahead of time before anybody says yes. They know that in the invitation that this group extends all the way until such and such date, which will be our final meeting, which can be prepared for and celebrated for at that when that time comes. And then, yeah, you'll never know, but take that first step, and then clarity about next steps usually come as a result of that. I'll give you an example. So a couple of weeks ago, something my soul desired. I was on a walk with my wife, and I shared with her, I said, you know what I miss? I miss the clubhouse days. I miss the days when I would sit there and I would open up a clubhouse room that said, how may I serve you? Ask me anything. And people would just drop in out of nowhere. And I would have the most amazing conversations. And that's just not possible today. I mean, Clubhouse still exists, but it's nothing like what it used to be, and it wouldn't offer what I was experiencing there. But I think I could recreate it with Ecamm Live and their newest version of Zoom integration. And what if I was to stream live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube? And that way, people who have no idea that I'm even doing these things, that they've been scheduled, they might just see me in their feed and catch wind that I'm available for Ask Me Anything. There's a thing that'll tell them to join the Zoom call. I can bring them online, and I could do what I used to do. It was just a dream. It was just an idea. I didn't think about, this wasn't some sort of sales funnel or marketing strategy, anything that to promote. I just wanted to experience what I used to experience. I love being of support and encouragement to people. And so far, I think I've had nearly 30 really amazing, deep conversations, and 15 of them have already been published as podcast episodes of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show. And there's another 14 on the desktop. There's already 2 today, with yours being the second today. So I've got all of this content. And while it did not register in my mind how this would lead to business or anything like that, about 4 or 5 days into doing the live streams, I felt inspired because of the conversations. I'm like, I think it's time to bring back our Free the Dream workshop. These conversations, clear that a lot of people would need the kind of stuff that we do in the Free the Dream workshop. Let's bring that back. So we went and put it on the calendar, and we scheduled it. And already 3 people are registered, with another people who have committed that they're interested in attending. And that's happening at the end of this month on the 29th and 30th. And so there may be more, but even still, it's that. And I'm doing pay what you want. You know, we're not going to tell you how much to pay. You could pay $0 and attend. You could pay $10,000 and attend. It doesn't matter to us. Just come. And that came out of these things. And then, of course, there are people who are watching this who say, man, Cliff, in all of my years that I've been following you, I thought the only thing you were out there doing is answering people's technical questions related to podcasting or business strategy and stuff like that. But man, I've heard you talk about some deeply spiritual things with people. And boy, I've got some things that have been going on in my world. And I've got this multi-million-dollar business and all this other stuff. And the things that are happening for me spiritually are kind of distracting me from my daily activities. And I do not want to have a conversation with you publicly, but I'd like to know how much it would be to hire you privately. I'd love a one-on-one coaching session with you. And it's like those kind of things are made possible as a result of just following my heart, not tied to any outcome. I'm not doing it so those things will happen. It's just I'm following what my heart and soul wants to create and express in the world, and trusting that all the other things that lead to all the other things that are necessary for provision, they just fall into place. That's how I'm approaching things.
Yeah. Yeah. I love how you shared that with me. Thank you for sharing that, because it resonates with kind of what I'm thinking as well. You know,
Yeah.
just kind of following my heart, feeling the need to share this and be of service to other people and see where it goes, you know?
Absolutely. The one thing that I heard earlier is that I'd love to turn this into a business, but I don't know if I'm ready, and one of the things 90 days could help you do is find out that, wow, this is a real felt need. And there are people who are genuinely gaining incredible benefit from what I have to offer. And so what you will start out with is courage to create and start and host and facilitate. And what you may end up with is the confidence to take it to the next step or the next level by the end of the 90 days.
Yeah.
Is there any other questions related to this and or anything else that I could be of service with you or to you, for you?
I think those are some, a great approach to where to go next,
Excellent.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that's all we need. Sometimes we just need clarity on a next step and off to the races. And if at any point, PJ, you want to come back, I'm going to continue to offer these live streams frequently, consistently, as long as my heart still sings when it's time to go live. And right now, this is the thing I'm enjoying most. So I'll be here.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for offering this.
Absolutely, PJ. Thank you for joining me, and I wish you a blessed and wonderful day.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Mark, I see that you are there. We're going to bring you up next. It looks like, are you ready?
Yeah, no, I was just really hanging out. It's a completely different life. The guy that I told you I didn't even want to say a decade since I billed him last.
Yes.
I talked to him, and so I'm going to send him an invoice, and we're going to get it settled. And he just kind of laughed. He had the same probably face on his face like you have, which is just this gentle knowing of yeah.
Been waiting.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so like I did something for somebody, their power supply was out, and basically I had him pay me before he even showed up to pick up the computer with Zelle. So it's a completely different thing. So and I don't want to go too far to examples, but the reason I kind of I listen to every podcast you put out, but the gun to your head analogy that I heard a couple of days, I think Tuesday, I was driving around where I grew up. And when you said it, I thought, yeah, of course, but I wouldn't want to live with a gun to my head all my life. And then you said, and besides, what if somebody had actually had a gun to their head? And I'm like, well, I've had a gun to my head twice in my life. Didn't even think about it until you said it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the one thing that I was thinking when you used that analogy. But who wants a gun to their head that I've been kind of gnawing at. So, but I'm assuming from what you said, you wouldn't use that analogy anymore.
No, I'm thrilled that I did an analysis, higher self-reflection. It's like, Cliff, that's an effective metaphor for sure. And I think I heard Tony Robbins say that in one of his teachings, and I'm like, man, that one perked up my interest real fast, and I found it to be absolutely, it's like I can't think of anyone who would ever argue with the truth of that statement. And I kind of just subconsciously adopted it, and it just flowed naturally off my tongue. And then when I went into my higher self project inside of ChatGPT, I said, is there anything that I said in this conversation that is not true or out of alignment with how I desire to show up or how I desire to be in the world? And it's like, hey, Cliff, here's one thing that is a potential misalignment that just seems the frequency and the energy behind the metaphor of a gun to your head. What that does is that causes the person to immediately cause their nervous system to go into a reaction mode. And most of what you desire to do is to help calm people's nervous systems. And here's a very different metaphor that you could offer. Here's a different way that you could phrase that and still get the same results. And I'm like, yeah, that's good. And also, I've had in my own life, I haven't had anybody hold a gun to my head, but I've witnessed it, and I didn't realize the potential of a triggered response and trauma that could be pulled up from that picture in people's minds. And I'm like, yeah, I am consciously choosing to put that metaphor into a box that's marked no longer useful.
Yep. You know what's funny though, when you talk about how you can choose to frame things, neither of the times that I had a gun in my face was I scared.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds strange. One of them was my dad trying to make a point that I shouldn't show up at 3 a.m. because I might be considered an intruder. But the other one was delivering pizza. This was in the 80s when Domino's drivers were, in the news for different things. And I understand why, because you'd walk up to all kinds of bizarre situations. One of them, as I walked off, I could hear the clicking of cocking of a gun. And so the guy had a 357. And I turned around, and it's like you turned around, the gun's like that close.
Yep.
And of course, the guy on the porch is like, well, don't do anything stupid, I think, to the guy who was holding the gun. And all I did is I decided I could freak out. But like any bully, I'm just setting myself up to be a victim. So all I did is I smiled and went like this. Wow, that's a cool looking gun. Is that the long barrel? And then that kind of caught him off surprise. He said, man, I'd love to hang out. And I kept my face out of the side of the barrel, and it said, I'd love to hang out, but my boss is such a jerk. I gotta go. And I don't know how many times somebody wanted to pay me in pot. My boss is a jerk. Everybody would go, oh, you poor guy. Yeah, you better get out of here. Because it's like, I guess everybody hates their boss. And so I used that in so many situations while driving for Domino's when the situation was tense. I've shown at huge poker parties where the cocaine and drugs and all kinds of stuff were being swapped on the table. I've had couples wrapped in a sheet naked to grab the pizza. Just all kinds of bizarre stuff.
Yeah.
And every time I felt like I need to get out of here, I would just blame bad boss, and everybody was bad. But yeah, so it's all how you frame it. Because I still, when I think back on that, I don't have any kind of nervousness about it.
Yeah, well, it's great that you don't. And I recognize that some do, though, and that's the meaning behind what I say. However, since you brought up those instances with your father and in the situation on the Domino's run, as I hear you saying those stories, the question is, why wasn't there fear? And I'm wondering if you're aware. Do you have any thoughts on why is it that you did not react with fear? Why is it that you experienced calm in each of those situations? Have you given that any thought? I'm wondering if I have lost Mark. I did, actually. So he's popping back in. So give him just a minute here. He'll rejoin the call. All right, Mark, you're back. You're muted, though, so let's switch up my thing here. Yep, take your time.
My computer's frozen.
No worries. I'll pull you up this way. So did you hear my question?
No, I heard no. Can you repeat it? I heard just the very beginning.
Yeah, so my question for you is, I'm wondering if you've ever given any thought as to why is it that you did not experience fear in the situation with your dad, and then in the situation with the Domino's run with this gun pointed to your head. Have you given any thought as to why you did not react with fear?
Well, my dad, he kind of liked to make demonstrable points. I knew he wasn't going to actually do anything.
Okay.
It was, he grew up in Nazi-occupied Holland and watched a lot of wild things happen. I mean, just wild things. And so I guess his sense, and he was 14 to 18, he was 40 years older than me during World War II. So his sense of it was just different. And I knew he wasn't going to do anything because he just never did.
Okay, so let me pause you there for just a moment. So I want to see if I am understanding this. So from what I'm hearing, in this case with your father, you had a very clear belief that your dad was not going to hurt you, in spite of the fact that he's using something incredibly drastic. It's not so fully out of line that it was unexpected. Not that you expected this to happen, but when it did, you had absolute trust that your dad was not going to harm you. That's what I hear
Oh
about
yeah.
the first one.
Oh yeah. No.
Okay. So
yeah.
so that's great. So now I'm curious, the same can't be true for the situation on the Domino's run. So have you given any thought as to why you did not react with fear in that scenario?
This was just an instant decision of, if I go into fear mode, he has me, and who knows where that could go. The best way to do this is play this like we're buddies, and he's just trying to get a rise out of me.
Have you ever considered what the source of that logic where that came from?
Well, as I told you before, I was teased a lot in school. And so I finally learned that a lot of the teasing, I heard on different shows that people get teased. They get teased based on, the way they react to things. So if they react a certain way, they're going to get teased, because there's plenty of people in school who don't get teased, who may be nerdier looking, who may be whatever. But since they don't really provide provide any kind of engagement to the bully, then they just, they don't get teased.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, yeah, when I think about it, what could have happened, I started to get that tight chest. But as we talked about before, what good is that going to do for me to freak out about it now?
Yeah.
I'd rather look at it from the standpoint of I handled myself.
Yeah. For me, and as I hear this, what comes up for me, and I'm interested to hear if it resonates with you at all, is that it seems to me in that scenario, with the Domino's delivery and the gun pointed at your head, is that instantaneously you were in tune and heard the voice of the divine within you, or your higher self, that clearly gave you instructions in faster than real time, that clearly said, okay, boom, do this, boom, do this, boom, do this. And without giving it real conscious thought, you intuitively from within knew what to do so that your life would be spared.
Mm-hmm.
Does that resonate?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that, and sometimes it's also practice. I used to take karate, and they train you for you don't think about it. It's I remember one time I took karate, and these kids said, "Oh, how good can it possibly be?" And I said, "I don't know." And one of them mistakenly started to attack me, and before I could even do anything, they were on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it just happened. It wasn't even I don't remember what they did. I don't remember what I did. It was just kind of like that Karate Kid, where somebody does something and you're instantaneously just go.
One thing that very few people know about me is that I was actually a blue belt in karate. So I started out, white, then yellow, then orange, and then blue. So I made it all the way to blue belt. And ironically, there is a level of spiritual intuition training that's involved in that process, such that you can intuitively give rise to the awareness of you that sees and responds in what I'm calling faster than real time. It's like you intuitively know what's coming. Now, I can tell you that there are parts of it, it's like, okay, here's what you're doing. And if you do this, there's this subtle stance, and your subconscious mind picks up on the movement of the way their hip is, and it knows it's going to do this. And there's a little bit of that involved. But there is also this intuition that's being trained as a part of the. So what I'm getting at is with karate in certain teachings and trainings, they're actually teaching you a very real spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it happens so fast that it's yeah, it's almost like hitting a baseball, because you can't really tell it by the time you can really figure out, see what's going on with the ball and all that stuff. It's already past you. So yeah, I agree with that. There's something somewhere that you tap into.
Yep. And the only reason I make a point to pull this out, because I'm asking myself, Cliff, why are you asking Mark these questions about his ability to face that without fear? And the reason why is because the same voice and intuition that helped you in that situation that would normally cause people to immediately go into a stressed, freaked out, reactionary state, which likely would end up much different than what you had going on. That is available for us in all of our triggered, stressed reactions to life. And that's what I'm asking is as you think about, I remember our very first conversation. It's like, I want to send an invoice. I can't send an invoice. And then there's all of the reactive thoughts that go along. I'm going to be judged. This is what came out. It was in episode 772 of the Cliff Ravenscraft Show when you and I had that conversation that I shared. And so do you see how that same ability now is, oh, wow, when it's time to send an invoice, boom, I can sense that there's a trigger for fear, or maybe that's not even being triggered anymore. But do you see how that it's that same intuition that says, this is no big deal. This is how I'm going to handle this situation.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, there's still some, just like, when we talked about karate, where, you do enough of these simulated, what is it? Dang it. Now I forget what the name, it begins with a K, when you're doing
Kata?
the certain, yeah, thank you. And so you get practiced in it. So every once in a while, it's not even a trigger. It's almost like this. I don't send an invoice, and then my brain just goes, no, I do. And I go, and that was more muscle memory. But yeah, I just decided to give all the negative thoughts up all at once. And I did. And and every time they try to come back, I'm like, it's kind of like, it's now like you hear somebody on the radio you don't want to listen to, and you just turn the dial. That's kind of like what I do, or you turn the radio off, and it's now as simple for me as that.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
I still have those voices of doubt and fear and anxiety and worry that pop up in my head from time to time. I was actually on a walk this afternoon with my wife Stephanie before our live stream, and I was telling her about some of the funny thoughts that were there. And when I say funny, not so funny thoughts, very fear-based kind of thoughts. But I told her, I said, I've actually come to the place where now I have using your metaphor, I have the ability to change the station, but sometimes I like to just keep it tuned and just listen for a little bit. I'm like, wow, that's like a comedy show that's being broadcasted through my head. Where's that coming from? And I kind of just smile at the narrative that's being told. And it's like, that's so not true. I mean, I get where the voices are coming from. I understand where their perceptions are coming from. I understand the evidence they're using to support that perspective, but that's not the full picture. I mean, come on. I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right things. I have full confidence that those thoughts are not mine, and those stories are limited. And I do not agree with them. And to your point, sometimes, if they continue on and persist too much, I just change the channel.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ready to listen to them yet.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I don't even want to entertain. You know what I mean? If I'm going to have entertainment, I'm gonna watch my favorite Star Trek show. I'm not gonna.
There you go. I love it. Mark, is there anything else I could do to be of support or encouragement to you today?
No, I just, I want to thank you. And, you'll see me kind of hanging out just because when you're at home working on computers, it gets a little say lonely or whatever. So there's times where I'll just be in like PowerShell, which is a programming thing, and it's a bunch of guys mostly in North Carolina who hang out, and I'll just hang out in there, even if I'm not interested in the topic, just to so I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome to pop into the Zoom call and stay muted as long as you want. And as people come in and out, feel free to pop in, drop out anytime you like. Just at any time you want to join me, just turn on the video and or type into the chat and say, "Hey, Cliff, I'd like to ask you a question," and I'll bring you up here and we'll chat more. But feel free to stick around. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say is, you were talking about with the other lady. I didn't catch her name because
her name is PJ.
PJ. So, but they were talking about the Bible, and two things about that. One is makes it's one of the things you told me, go deep, because I think had you not told me to go deep, and in the Four Agreements, I would have read the whole thing and on an intellectual level said, yes, not lying is a good idea, not doing this, not doing that, but really, taking it in deep, and then even figuring out how they all relate to each other made a big difference. And I think doing that same thing with the Bible. But the one skill I wish I had was, if you've heard Dr. Jordan Peterson with his We Who Wrestle with God book, but even if he just talks about Pinocchio, the way he is able to dig into stories and go deep is, I don't know if you've heard it, but it's incredible. It's, just how he can parse this stuff. Because I haven't read the whole Bible, but I've read stuff, and a lot of times it's like, or Pinocchio, it's like they go here. I go through it all, I see it all, but the meanings that he goes through with it, whether it's why they go to the island, or going, getting his father out of the whale, and what that all means, is an awesome skill. I don't know if that's just magically he's able to do it, or if it's something teachable for people. Or I don't know if you were able to do that too.
I definitely have the ability to sit down with something and discern things that typically aren't on the surface level. And sometimes it comes to me intuitively from within, and it's just, oh, wow. And sometimes it's through listening to, like, I will read something, I will hear something from someone else that's completely unrelated to what I might have read in the scriptures. And then all of a sudden it unlocks it's like, oh my gosh, wait a sec. And then I go back and I read that again with a whole different lens. And I'm like, oh, I see a different layer to this than I ever saw before. I will share with you, taking it out of the context of the Bible for a moment, there's a 10-day audio program from Tony Robbins called Creating Lasting Change. And the very first time I heard this 10-day audio program, Tony Robbins sounded to me like Charlie Brown's teacher in the old cartoons of Charlie Brown. Mwah, 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 mwah. And he was talking about the three this and the triad this and the four classes of human behavior and all this other stuff. And it's just like, it all made sense, but it was just so much information. And then let's just say about a month later, I listened to the entire 10-day audio program a second time. And all of a sudden, things that just sounded wah, 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 started to click, so much so that I began to have experiences in my day-to-day life, personally, professionally, spiritually. And all of a sudden, I saw an opportunity to test the validity of something I just learned in that program. And then I would go back, let's just say a month and a half or 2 or 3 months later, and I would listen to this 10-day audio program of Creating Lasting Change a third time. And it had been so long that I'd had so many other lived experiences that now I'm hearing even more of what Tony has said, But because of some of the additional experiences I've had, I'm now connecting at a deeper layer that I didn't have connections for before. The receptors weren't there. I say all of that to say this. I've been through the 10-day audio program of creating lasting change well over 30 times. I'm probably approaching 40 times I've been through that program. And the last time I listened to the entire 10 days of audio over the course of 10 days, the last time I did it, let's just say it was like the 34th time. Just make a number up. It's over 30. But if it was the 34th time, here's what I will tell you. Mark, I swear to you, I heard Tony say things the 34th time that I swear I never once heard him say the first 33 times. And I have transcribed and typed word for word every word spoken right around my 20th time through the program. I had typed those words and didn't consciously absorb what it was saying. But it was the 34th time listening to it that it hit. So, why do I share all of that? I share that to say this. There's a saying that many people have said many years over all of the years, and it says this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Now, the thing is the teacher was always there, all right? My modified version of that statement is this: when the student is ready, the teaching will appear. And what I mean by that is the first 33 times I listened to the 10-day audio program, the student was not yet ready for that particular insight that was there the entire time. And that is true with any holy text as well.
Yep. Kind of like when the buyer's ready, the VW bug will appear.
That's exactly right. I love it. Mark, I appreciate you, my friend.
Yep. Me too. Right back at you.
All right.
Have a great day.
You do the same. All right. Blessings.
Yep.
All right. So there we go. That was 2 conversations. It is 2:21. I'm here for a minimum of 9 more minutes, but I would stay longer if anybody wants to join me. So all you need to do is understand that I'm going to sit here and play another song. And if anybody wants to ask me anything, just pop into this Zoom call. It's cliffravenscraft.com/join. I'll bring you up on screen. We will interact. You could talk to me about anything as evidenced by this live stream. So feel free to join me. The last time before PJ came up, I was playing a version of a song that I had created. I created some lyrics based upon an experience that I had this morning in my journaling. And I played one version of that song. I'm going to now play an alternative. This is the second version of that song. Same lyrics.
I don't have to follow up. I don't have to plead. I don't have to water down the wild voice in me. When I speak, they'll feel it like thunder in their chest. They've been waiting for this moment. No second guess. No more tugging at the silent. No more knocking on closed doors. The ones who are meant to walk with me, they don't need convincing anymore. They will know, they will come, they will feel it in their bones like the rising sun. They'll say yes with tears in their eyes. I've waited my whole life for this. They'll offer to pay before I even ask. They'll show up early, steady deep, not because I asked them to, but because their soul sell answers, I don't market truth. I speak from the stillness that burns through the proof. Some will pause, some will pass, but the ones who are called arrive at last. No chasing ghosts through the inbox tide, no reaching back for those who hide. I'm here for those whose hearts arrive already open, already wide. They will know, they will come, they'll hear my voice and feel the drum. They'll whisper yes before I do, because their soul already knew. This is not persuasion's art, this is a card for those who are ready to start. They'll cry within the first 10 lines, this is what I came to find. Yes, they will know.
So that was version 2 of They Will Come, which is a song I wrote this morning. And by the way, the entire story behind this song is available in the Cliff Ravenscraft Show, episode number 784, Why It Was Inspired. And basically what I do is when I have an experience or when I'm having a conversation with a client, whenever there's something that I used to turn into an affirmation, I now turn into something I call soul songs. And so this was my latest soul song. Now, this morning, and by the way, when I use ChatGPT to help me develop the lyrics, I go back and forth and find exactly the right lyrics that resonate exactly with what I'm feeling in my soul as it relates to this. Then I bring it over to Suno.ai and I feed it the lyrics. I give it some instruction on ways that I want it to approach creating the song in it. And you've heard 2 different versions. Now, what I will share with you is I like both of those. They were okay, but here's the final version. So I actually have, by the way, Soul Songs Volume 1 and Soul Songs Volume 2 available on Apple Music and Spotify for free. But just search in your Apple Music, just go and search for the artist Cliff Ravenscraft, and you will see my Soul Songs Volume 1 and Volume 3. But this song, They Will Know, here is the final version of that song.
I don't have to follow up. I don't have to plead. I don't have to water down the wild voice in me. When I speak, they'll feel it like thunder in their chest. They've been waiting for this moment. No second guess. No more tugging at the silence. They don't need convincing anymore. They will know, they will come, they will feel it in their bones like the rising sun. They'll say yes with tears in their eyes. I've waited my whole life for this. They'll offer to pay before I even ask. They'll show up early, steady deep, not because I asked them to, but because their soul already knew. Yes, they will know. I don't sell answers. I don't market truth. I speak from the stillness that burns through the proof. Some will pause, some will pass, but the ones who are called arrive at last. No chasing goes through the inbox type. No reaching back for those who hide. I'm here for those whose hearts are right. Already open, already wide. They will know, they will come. They'll hear my voice and feel the drum. They'll whisper yes before I do, because their soul already knew. This is not persuasion's art. This is a cart for those who are ready to start. They'll cry within the first 10 lines. This is what I came to find. Yes, they will know.
So when I work with Suno and my higher self project in ChatGPT, I keep saying, that's not it. Let's try again. That's not it. Let's try again. You know what? This is almost it. Let's redo this portion of the song. And the version that I just played, it came out almost perfect. And then the first chorus was slightly off. So I go into Suno AI and I say, okay, we've got it. This third version, this is really good. This is almost there. But this first part, just not quite it. And so I go in and I ask it to redo that section, which it does. It has the ability to do it. Normally, it will take that, rework it, gives you 2 alternative versions as optional remixes of just that chorus or whatever segment of the song you wanted to remix. And then it will blend it into the original usually without retouching the rest. But in this case, it actually retouched the verse right after it, and it for some reason it repeated one of the lines twice, and of course there's music in behind it, and I'm like, this is so close. So I downloaded the original version, which after the chorus, the first chorus, had everything perfect. And then I took this new version that had everything from the beginning of the song until the end of the chorus perfect. And I opened it up in Adobe Audition and I mixed the two. The only thing is because I'm blending it and it's not blending it, there is just this place, and I'm like, I'm going to find the right cut, the right mix, the right way. And for me, because of my ears and because I was working on it, I can tell you right now, every time I hear this song, I will know where it cut from version 1 to version 2. But knowing that if I didn't know that, listening to it, nobody in a million years would know that that's actually 2 different versions of the song cut to make one song. Normally, you shouldn't have to do that with Suno AI, but today I did. But that's clearly that's the one that resonates. That's the version I just played. That last one is what my soul wanted to bring forth into the world today. And you know what? It's like to wake up each morning and say, you know what? I'm only going to say yes to things that make my soul sing. And to create that song, that was the best use of my morning today. I love it. And it's actually, if you like that song, it's on episode 784. Again, the entire story that tells why that song came into existence. It was a client who back in at the end of May said, Cliff, I'm going to pay you $15,000 in full. Can't wait to start working with you. In June, we had scheduled our first session in June, and I sent the agreement. Everything was hunky-dory. And then I got an email a couple of days later. It says, hey, I've got this opportunity to do this spiritual pilgrimage on multiple continents, and I just want to delay our start for a couple of weeks until I get back. And I'm like, absolutely no problem. And yet here I am in a situation where I've built my business in such a way that I just need one client each month to say yes. And as long as I get that, everything's, and I anticipated that was my one client. And it was like, Cliff, let's put this off until July. I'm like, no big deal, so I've got other means to make ends meet. And so we made that ends meet, and July comes around. And the first 2 weeks of July, I'm on vacation with my family down in the Smoky Mountains for 4th of July. And I had not done anything to market anything in July. I'm just like, it'll happen. And also, this person said, when I get back from this trip. So when I got back from my 2-week vacation, I send this email. And I said, hey, are you ready to schedule our July session? Here's a link to schedule. And I sent that email and never heard back. And so the original contact was via Facebook DM. And so I reached out via DM. I said, listen, I know you've been out for several weeks going around the multiple continents on the spiritual pilgrimage that you've been on. And chances are my emails just got lost in your mix. So I just wanted to follow up and see if you're interested in continuing on. And if things have changed, I fully honor that. No big deal. No pressure any way at all. But I just wanted to reach out and see if you're ready to proceed. And Facebook direct message tells you when somebody sees your message. And that person saw that message at 5:09 p.m. that night, which was 2.5 weeks ago. And not one response to the message, not one response to the email. And this morning, I have something called my Higher Self Project. And I said, so I think it's time for me to just release any anticipation of this person onboarding as a client. And my feeling was, should I send another follow-up? Should I send one more email? Should I send one more direct message? And I said, but it's very clear what I feel and sense my soul saying to me is, Cliff, this is obviously not going to happen right now. And there's an infinite number of reasons why that may be. And I think it's time to just leave it and give it space. And this person may come back or not. But either way, the space you are holding for this person to be a client, just release it for someone else. And so I did. And then there was this phrase that came up. Let me see if I can find it here. And let's see here. It's under my journal. So where's my journal? Right here's my journal. And this was the phrase. It says, the ones you are meant to walk with will not need to be followed up with twice. They will initiate. They will pay before you ask. They will show up early to your calls, pen in hand. They will cry within 10 minutes knowing I've waited my whole life for this. And that is what prompted the song that I've played 3 different versions of in this live stream. All right, it is 2:40. Nobody else has joined me on the live call here today in Zoom, but I certainly do appreciate the fact that, let's see here, Cheryl first started us off at the beginning of the day, being laid off and now pursuing full-time self-employment and taking what she's been doing part-time and working on her mindset. That's going to be amazing to hear how that goes, and she's possibly going to come back in the future and come with more questions and support and encouragement on her self-employment journey. PJ Posey has come here about getting serious about the changes that she's making, showing up and creating an environment to do this thing that she wants to do to serve people. And she's going to move forward with that. And Mark Weiss has joined us to give us an update, and we had an amazing additional conversation. I am so blessed and honored to have this opportunity. If you have been here on the live stream, thank you so much. If you are watching this replay, thank you so much. I invite you to join me anytime. Just go to cliffravenscraft.com/join. And for as long as this continues to make my soul sing, I will schedule more of these. It is currently Thursday, August 7th, 2025. I will be here tomorrow, Friday, from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm already scheduled. In my schedule, I've already committed a number of these daily over the next several weeks, but I'm going to start going in and I will update the page at cliffravenscraft.com/join. I will update with the times for next week as well. So yeah, just go there. And until next time, thank you so much and wish you many blessings. And I look forward to any opportunity that I could be of support and encouragement to you. Oh, and one final thing, freethedreamworkshop.com. That's it, freethedreamworkshop.com. Check it out.